2, 3, 4, 5, 1. All right, we are live, folks. Welcome to new Baki Radio. This is episode 7. Today we're going to be focusing this discussion on chapters 86 through 88. Warning! There's spoilers. And spoiler alert, I've not even read those chapters yet. I have absolutely no idea what to expect. The last chapter that I saw was chapter 85, where Baki was in the ring against Hano, and he was melting, and he punched Hano in the head so hard that Hano's top knot unfurled, and Hano's hair went all over the place. And for the first time in Hano's life, he saw a guy that was about his size, that looked to be about as big as a freaking mountain. All right, so we'll wait just about a second here while I just continue to just talk about whatever it is that I want to talk about until we get a guy or two in here. So it's been a few days since I did my last episode of New Baki Radio. And, you know, normally back in the day, we'd be talking a whole lot about chapter stuff. But the thing was, I didn't know where to get any panels because Manga Dex got taken down. Wasabi Syrups got taken down. So I didn't know where to get my panels. So I'll plug them now. Now, before people would ask me, where would I get my panels from? They'd say, Aaron, where do you get your panels from? And I wouldn't tell them that I'd go to Manga Dex or I'd go to Wasabi Syrup. I wasn't going to plug them. And I wasn't going to plug them because I wasn't going to get paid by them. Now, if I had thousands and thousands of subscribers and, you know, making money off of ad revenue and stuff like that, well, then, yeah, I would have plugged Manga Dex and I would have plugged Wasabi Syrup. But since the future of Wasabi Syrup and Manga Dex is pretty darn uncertain at this point because of hacker activity and their site being taken down as precautionary, then I have no problems with plugging Manga Dex and Wasabi Syrup. And yeah, the truth of the matter is, that's what I was going. Those are the websites I was going to get the panels. All right, so we got a guy here. All right, so let's take a look at. Wow. So again, this is my first time looking at these chapters. We're going to be spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. We're going to be talking about chapters 86 through 88. All right, let's get started with chapter 88. So where we left off on chapter 85, Hano is sitting on the arena grid floor, totally stunned, looking like he's just annihilated, and his hair's all over the place. His hair knot has become unfurled. Chapter 86 is titled Dunno? Dunno? Just don't know. So we've got a panel of the Star-Spangled Banner. It's the United States flag. I don't know what that's all about. Next page, we're in Los Angeles at an unnamed hotel. Obviously, we're at the top floor. On the door, on the top floor of a Los Angeles hotel, a skyscraper, we see 0, 0, 0, 0. That's the home of an ace, ladies and gentlemen. You are dealing with a 0, a national treasure. The Japanese ogre. Obviously, this is Yujiro's abode. We get feet crossed, cigarettes being inhaled, cigarette being demolished in one fell swoop. The ogre inhales and sucks down that entire cigarette in one breath and then blows it all out. Ashes hitting the ground, a plume of smoke coming out, the reclining ogre. But now suddenly he just looks a little bit nasty. He's looking I can tell. I can recognize that comb over anywhere. That's obviously Donald Trump. Donald Trump's got tears in his eyes. He's saying something, complaining to the ogre, talking about an oath. An oath. Well, I don't want to spoil it too much. The ogre reclines, and he's got the demon's eyes. The ogre's got the devil's eyes. There's the whites in his eyes. You can tell he's ogre serious. He's 100% invested. The Trump, he's got his finger pointing up. He's making a point. There's no doubt. He is shooting the shizzle with the ogre. They're having a very in-depth conversation. I see words like tricked. I see word like Biden, presidency. The intensity in Trump's eyes as he points at the ogre. The ogre is reclining. The ogre is amidst a big plumes of smoke. But suddenly it just seems like the ogre... No. I think he's asleep. I think I've never actually seen anything like this, but I think the ogre's asleep here. Yeah. So clearly the ogre was. So if you've ever wondered if Yujiro Hanma could, remember, what was it, like 6 months ago or like a year ago when I first started talking about Baki Dao again after years, and I was babbling on about one subject or another, and I was just cranking out one crappy video after another, and I was like, do you think that Yujiro Hanma sleeps? And do you think that Yujiro Hanma ever sleeps? Does he ever let his guard down? Well, yes, the answer is yes. He does let his guard down. The ogre does sleep. We have this canon proved before us. Canon, Yujiro Hanma does sleep. So, Yujiro Hanma sleeps. And if you'll notice, and we'll get to that later. We'll get to that panel in another time. I'll show you that one. I cannot show too many panels because I'll get my whole site, my channel shut down. Trump's like, is this guy sleeping? Trump gets on to sleep. He's like, Mr. Hanma, you. He reaches out to touch his nose. Now, action shifts to the new President of the United States, President Biden. As Biden is on the top floor of this Los Angeles hotel, standing before the door of 0, 0, 0, 0, standing at attention, waiting for the ogre to answer the door. I guess he knocks. Nobody answers. I don't know. He stands there. There's a pause. Should he enter? Should he enter? He knocks. He knocks. Then light peers through the top of that open door, and standing before him is an ogre. An ogre with the demon whites of his eyes revealed, vascular as ever, holding on to the now unconscious and beaten down Donald Trump. Donald Trump now hanging helplessly by his scruff in the ogre's hands. And Biden's stunned. He's like, what the hell's going on here? What is Trump doing in the ogre's abode? Yujiro Hanma echoes that sentimentality. He says, dunno. He was out when I woke up. So, this answers two questions. One, and the question that I asked 4 or 5 years ago. Does Yujiro Hanma sleep? We now have canon proof. This transcends evidence. This is proof. We got a picture of Yujiro Hanma sleeping. If there was any uncertainty, look at the words that come out of Yujiro's mouth. He was out when I woke up. Woke up. He was out when I woke up. Yujiro Hanma sleeps. We have it proven, and he even admits it by saying when he woke up. He acknowledges that his belly was exposed in a kind of a way while he was sleeping. So anyways, he goes, my guess is he tried to touch her. Okay, well, now you know the rest of the deal. Donald Trump tried to touch Yujiro Hanma, and look what he got for his effort. So now we have another question that was answered. If Yujiro Hanma does sleep, does he let his guard down? And is it so? No, the answer is no. He never lets his guard down. Even when he's asleep, his guard is up 100%. And anyways, he just says, get him the hell out of here. Next chapter. So we get a close-up of Hano as from chapter 85. So by the way, we're on chapter 87 here. So we get a close-up. So basically, page 1 of 87, we get 3 panels. Top panel takes up the lion's share of the panel. It's a picture of Hano getting a little bit of sweet chin music as he takes a left-handed jab from Baki at liquid speed levels, basically flooring the mighty tiny giant and unfurling his top knot. That's basically what's going on. So his top knot completely unfurls. Hano flies off the ground, and he lands with a little bit of a thud as he hits the arena floor. Everybody's in the audience are like, ooh, ah, oh my God. It was so fast. It was so fast. Nobody could even see it. Now Hano's hair is really, really unfurled. It's all over the place. Shock and amazement, pure awe is all over the face of the tiny giant. There's a question mark over his head. He's like, oh my God, is he having a little bit of an epiphany? The ground, it disappeared all of a sudden underneath him. It just gave way. And then all of a sudden, he was gone, he says, or something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing because I'm going too fast to really understand what the hell is going on. And then he just basically got floored, and now he's on the ground. Oh my God, it was crazy. So now we got so we've got a double page panel here. 2 pages expertly squeezed together by the team at, I will not be plugging them, but it's page 7 and 6. Remember, you read right to left in Japan, so page 7 is on the left, page 6 is on the right. And the top part is basically a gigantic panel where you've got Hano on his ass on the ground. And then you've got Baki in this very agile, ready to pounce, just kind of jaguarish, high agility fighting posture, ready to just go berserk at a moment's notice. Now we got our gang. We've got Takugawa, we've got the retired Yokozuna, we've got Doppo, we've got Hanayama, we've got everybody in the audience, we've got the stable master. Everybody's looking on in amazement as Hano just sits there on the ground stunned. But what is to make of this? I don't know. Before he can question it further, apparently he gets back up to his feet. His hair all over the place. Now, are we supposed to interpret that now that his hair knot has been unfurled, that sumo culture has been smashed out of this young sumo hopeful, that now we're going to have a nitty-gritty fight that has nothing to do with sumo because all of that ancient archetype sumo styling is now under the wayside? We're now going to get a street fight out of this Hano? Maybe just so. Or maybe not. So anyways, Hano's over there, and he grabs his hair, and he just kind of swooshes it back, but he grits his teeth as he stares down the big bully that is the gigantic, the skyscraper, the towering Baki Hanma. He reflects as his jaw was hit and he sailed off the ground. Wait, did he just get punched again? No, he did not. He's back on his feet and he stares down the barrel of that lion, which is the young ogre Hanma. Baki sees something that just astounds him, and Shibukawa's got a smile on his face. Doppo's got a smile on his face. He laughs. The stable manager's like, oh, we're about to see something here. A very uncharacteristic posture now in the young Hano. Now I'm really sensing that he's saying, screw sumo at this point. I may be sumo, but I want to fight. Because I'm a little guy, and I fight big towering giants all the time. Everybody in the stands are like, oh my God, he changed his stance. Oh, he's guarding his jaw. You never see anything like that, and you never see anything like that in sumo. But apparently it doesn't matter. Because obviously, if you guard your jaw like this, then you expose the bottom of your jaw for an uppercut. And Baki sneaks one in. And then several other punches. Punches coming from the left, the right, bottom, up and down, all over the place. Hano's really getting whacked here. So is this the last page of Chapter 87? I think it is, but it is a solo giant panel. Oh no, there's more. So the lights go out and Hano's eyes again as he continues to get destroyed in this assault. Now a big, high, left, turning kick smacks the neck and the jaw again. So are you starting to get the trend here? Hano's jaw keeps getting hit. His jaw keeps getting hit. His jaw gets hit one way. His jaw gets hit the other way. His jaw keeps getting hit. And what is the jaw hit synonymous with in fighting? Well, knockouts. But Hano stays, well, the lights are out. And he's on his ass again. Actually, he almost got kicked completely head over. Well, he basically did. Is this the last page? I don't know. Anyways, oh no, it's still going. Everyone in the audience are like, oh my God. Oh my God. We got feet. And he was kicked completely head over heels. Oh my God, he's like spinning. He's all over the place. He is. He's flying comically, twirling all over the place. But he lands in a deep sumo stance. And he's saying, no, I intend to charge at you. And then this is the kind of thing. You got to remember, Baki, he's not normal. Baki is an ogre. Okay? His head clears the clouds. Okay? He's like freaking Godzilla. He's really, really big. Hano gets beat up by guys that have tremendous strength all the time. Okay, his repertoire includes getting his ass violently annihilated by guys that are 2 to 3 times his size. Nonetheless, he rebounds or he recovers and he lands down in a starting stance. As he's been taking quite a wallop, but he's still into this to win it. And he stares back at the skyscraping Baki. Now, in that sumo stance, he's getting ready to do, I don't know, but he looks at Baki and then Baki copies him. Now, Baki actually looks like a little bit of a monster here. Baki's unstoppable. Baki looks like he's a spider with 4 legs. He looks like he's a crab. Baki looks like a crab, a muscular, scarred up crab, and with inhuman flexibility. Anyways, so it's archetype sumo against archetype sumo, super duper low. Okay, and that's the end of the chapter. We now start. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! We're on chapter 88. Title of the chapter is Dash. We got anybody here today? Hey, Strap got on forum. He goes, yo, how you doing, man? Welcome aboard. It says Musashi beat Yujiro. Yes, yes, Musashi beat Yujiro. Hell yes. That's always been my opinion. Because I like Miyamoto Musashi. All right, chapter 88, Dash. Yeah, we're clearing those chapters pretty fast. It's nice. Chapter starts up with images of chopsticks and little goldfish, beetles, cockroaches, and stuff like that. You know, all kinds of stuff that we're familiar with. Cockroach speed, cockroach dashes. You know, baseballs being hit by baseball bats and the explosion of energy that's released upon that impact. You know, we're reminding of the tremendous acceleration of a $1 million sports car. Olympic athletes, Olympic sprinters taking off at Mach speed and everything like that. Jaguars, cheetahs, panthers, peregrine falcons, and everything like that. Taking off at a super high speed, you know, light speed dash. Muscles twitching, you know, synapses firing, lightning striking, cockroaches taking off, muscle fibers twitching and exploding, the speed, the intensity, neuroactivity, 100%, hyper freaking frequency stuff going on here. And now we're taking it back to Baki stepping on a little bit of a cockroach here. Okay, I don't know what the deal is there. And he's like, but how did I step on this cockroach? Oh, he looks at, so I guess like there's a smashed cockroach on the ground, and he sees that, you know, inside the exoskeleton or the carapace, whatever they call these bugs, that there's liquid oozing out of, you know, this cockroach exoskeleton. He's like, but there's no muscles in there, so how does it speed up like that? And then his demon brain, you know, figures something out. And he's like, oh, that's it, that's it, that's it. It's the slackening that's used to output massive force. We get another image of Miyamoto Musashi, which is just the other day I showed this archetype image of Miyamoto Musashi. And he goes, that bottomlessly deep relaxation finds its ultimate end. We'll always go back to Miyamoto Musashi when it comes to Itagaki Kiesuke. You know, remember, we love Yujiro Hanma. Everybody loves Yujiro Hanma. But you have to understand who inspires it. Miyamoto Musashi. Miyamoto Musashi. Baki thinks, oh, it's the liquefaction. Liquefaction. That's what it is. It's the slackening, it's the whipping, it's the extending, and then the sudden intensity of the clenching and the tautness. And now he like bows down to the mighty cockroach. He's like, ah, you're my mentor. We must reach a state of liquidity. Surely that's what it is. Now, Hano is once again stunned. He's seeing something. Oh, now he visualizes going against a gigantic. And Baki explodes, but we have the demon grid intensity in Hano's eyes. Hano charges. He takes off at the same. Oh, no. No. Baki's just too fast for him. Baki hits Hano like a freight train off the rails. But somehow, Hano, he digs his heels. He digs the flatness of his feet and his toes into that earth floor. He gets a little bit of traction with the demon grit. An explosion of anger and intensity in his face. He somehow stops and he grabs the hindquarters, the rear of Baki's trousers, and he's getting ready for a suplex. I can just feel it. It's a suplex. It's a throw. Oh, the chapter ends right there? Was that really? Oh, so you know it. You know it. He was getting ready to throw Baki, so Baki's getting ready to get tossed right into the audience. You know, that's clear to me. All right, guys, that's basically what I wanted to cover as far as the new Baki Dao chapters were concerned. So I'll just tell you a little bit what's going on in my day. I'm going to go off to the store right now. I'm going to get some beef, and I'm going to get some fresh baked bread, and I'm going to get some Italian seasoning and stuff like that. And I'm going to make a whole bunch of meatballs, and I'm going to make a whole bunch of meatballs and a nice pot of sauce. So I'm going to get tomatoes that are whole peeled tomatoes, and I'm going to hand squeeze them. I'm going to make a nice succulent little liquor of olive oil, garlic, and Italian spices in the bottom of my pan, and I'm going to stir them under some intense high heat. And right as I sense the aroma of that garlic pop, at that moment, I'll remove that pan from the heat so that that garlic doesn't get scorched and become bitter. And you better bet your ass that I'm going to split each clove of garlic open, and I'm gonna take the core, that little green stem, out of each clove of garlic. Why? Because that inner core of garlic, that little green stem, does not add to the flavor, and you should never add that to the sauce, and it's just going to make it weird tasting. Yeah, that's right. So I'm going to lightly fry all of those Italian spices and herbs, and of course with that garlic in there. But I don't want that garlic to really get brown. I just want it to slightly roast. The second that aroma leaves the pan and gets into my nostrils, I'll rob it from the heat. And at that point, and at that point, and at that point, I'll throw in the cans of whole peeled tomatoes into that liquor of spicy Italian awesomeness. And then I'll turn the heat back up. Now that the tomatoes and the sauce are in that pan, the garlic is now safeguarded from the intensity of the heat, which means I can crank that heat up. Now, while that flame is roaring underneath the pan, I'll have both hands in that pan, in that pot, squeezing and mulching up those tomatoes and squeezing them into a paste. And then I'm going to stir it as it comes to a boil. And I'm going to let that sauce boil until it turns pink and frothy at the top of the pan. And at which point, I can finally turn the heat down to a low simmer, put a lid on it. But before that, and then I'll make sure that I salt it, and I put a hefty dose of crushed ground black pepper in that pot, and then I'll put that lid on, and I'll let it simmer for a good several hours. Oh yeah, I forgot. And then at that point, I'll throw in all those meatballs that I made, and I'll let it simmer. But that's how Aaron Whelan makes a pot of sauce. And yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. So we got a new guy today on the show, and his name was the Strap God on Phonam, or whatever his name is. Welcome aboard. Make sure you subscribe, Strap God. Make sure you subscribe. All right, guys, I got to do what I do best. Let's make a bitchin' pot of spaghetti sauce. Later, dudes. Catch you on the next episode of New Baki Dow Radio.